Hi, everybody. We're on week three. Week three is the discussion of the Red Hook goals. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about some housekeeping rules. Some pretty easy ones, to be honest with you. I would like you all to look at your rubric. And your rubric on your discussion says more than three. If you want a full, you know, points, you need to get at least four, one, two, three, four responses to the discussion, and the discussion has to be 250 words. That does not include, hey everybody, no salutations, just the body of what your discussion's going to be. So when we're looking at Red Hook this week, I want to give you some heads up on this. It says, what are the Red Hook goals? Red Hook goals are fabulous goals. And you're going to see that through their goals that a lot of not police departments, a lot of courts have kind of followed them. Rudy Giuliano was correct on that. A lot of departments looked at that and said, this is the way to go. They looked at how they could change things for the better. It was an initiative to keep young people out of the court, really, and make them productive members of society. It was a great, great idea, and it's still a great idea. But something happened with coronavirus, and I want you to look at that and say to yourself, well, okay, once you see that, I want you to look it up, see what happened with this court. And it's easy enough to look. You can look up, the Red Hooks in New York, their community corrections, what happened. And you can look up coronavirus. Always the good seems to be the first to be hit. That's the way I look at it. Always the good. And this was good. This is good. And I'm hoping that they get back to this. They had a couple of things that happened, but it was working. And you're looking at the video. What the video is old. I mean, it's not like ancient, like me, but it's ancient. It's old, but it's still, Red Hook has been going on, and they've been a lot of people have looked up to it. The next thing you have to do, and I want to go over this again, some housekeeping rules, is your paper. Your paper is going to be front end and back end solutions. And the front end and back end solutions are really kind of wonderful to look at. And it has to do with, why are we seeing, so the court on the front end will give a sentence, and they'll say, okay, you're going to do, I'm going to make this number up, you're going to do 10 years in jail. The back end says, are we really going to keep them for that amount of time? And what happened with COVID? When COVID happened, what did your jails do? And that's really interesting to see what happened with COVID and what happened with releasing prisoners and why they were released. I also want you to look at the front end and the back end having to do with diversion. And in that paper that you're writing, remember, it's going to be 4 to 5 pages. You're going to have 2 sources. If you can't find a source, I can certainly help you. But one of the easiest ways to do it is to highlight it, right-click it, and search it, and you'll find something. So I know that it's worked for me, and I think that I use that an awful lot, and I'm hoping that will help you as well. But the front end and the back end, what happens when a pandemic hits? What happens when people's views on marijuana change? Because they certainly have changed over the last 10 years. What happened to the jails? Are there more people in jail? Are there less people in jail? What happened to who's making money on those paid jails? And it's really only 9% of the jails are privately owned, but who's making money on that? And who are they hiring? It's a really interesting concept to look at, the paid jails. Now, I know that our jails in Massachusetts also sell beds. And who do they sell beds to? I always found this kind of strange, that Massachusetts had run out of beds. I mean, they were running low on beds, so they would send prisoners cheaper to send them to Texas to have Texas watch them. So I hope that helps you. Take a look at it. As always, you can always contact me if you can't find any information. But again, front end and back end solutions. Should we maybe do Red Hook for adults? We should, by the way. We should. We should be looking at diversion. We should be looking at, who do I want living next to me? If you put somebody in jail or you put somebody in prison and you know they're going to get out in 3 years, do you want to put them in prison to learn all bad habits, or do you want to put them in prison to say, what can we do to make you come out in society and be a great member to society? But are they also using prisoners as cheap labor? I mean, there's things to look at. Or Are they using them to do community service by cleaning the roads? Are they getting paid for that? And should they get paid for that, or are they using them as slave labor? I try to make you always think outside the box and ask, what is right, what is wrong. But if you answer it, also look to see if you can see another side of it. All right. Have a good weekend. Stay cool. It's going to be a hot one. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Bye-bye.